Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Charge and Cruise. Today is a very special day because today we are doing our official ride and review with the Roadster73 Plus. Let's go ahead and turn it on so I can show you guys exactly how many miles I have put on this bike so far. So you should be able to see that is 342 miles so far. Oh wait, no, that's trip. Let's go to odometer. 337 miles so far, and I've had this bike for just about 4 weeks. Good amount of time spent on that seat. Just took it off-roading, so she's a little bit dusty. I have put this bike through plenty of tests, and I feel confident enough to give you guys a real official ride and review. So we are going to go on a little cruise, talk about the bike, show you what I love about it, what I don't like about it, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get on the road. But before we do all of that, first things first, let's do our speed tests. Now we do 2 speed tests on this channel, the 0 through 20, and then the top speed. Now, right off the bat, this is not going to be your fastest bike. It's running a 48-volt system, 750-watt rear hub motor in the back, so definitely not going to be any Sur-Ron killer. We're going to go ahead and check out the 0 to 20. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to bump it up to the fastest setting, pedal assist 5. The throttle is actually normally unlocked on this bike, so whatever pedal assist level you're on, you still get full access to the throttle, which is pretty cool. But for safe measure, we're just going to put it on to pedal assist 5. Let's go ahead and see what 0 to 20 is like. We got the GPS on the right side here. We're going to go to 20 in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, 10, 13, 16, 18, and 20. Oh, a little delayed. But man, this bike is pretty fast off the line, not gonna lie. Obviously, in the first couple seconds, the throttle takes a while for it to gear up because, I mean, she's a heavy bike. She's just about 100 pounds. I got a rear cargo rack in the back, my backpack. So yeah, not too bad for an 0 and 20 time. That felt really quick. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to do the top speed. As you can see, the GPS is just a little lagged behind, but 12 on display, 12 on GPS. So pretty accurate readings. We're gonna go ahead and try to do the top speed run now. I believe it's right around 30 miles an hour, but we'll see. Okay, top speed run, here we go. Once again, pedal assist 5, and we're gonna try to get the highest speed possible until the end of this street. In 3, 2, 1, go. As usual, a little slow off the line, but once she gets going, she gets going. We are already at 20. Looks like we're pushing 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. All right. And we are still at 28, 30 on display. 27, 30 on display. Yeah, it looks about to be max 28 miles an hour. Right on par with a legal class 3. And we are out of runway. Not bad, especially pushing a 100-pound bike. It's cool. So, the Roadster73 Plus. Once again, I have done over 300 miles on this thing, and let's just talk about my favorite parts of this bike, which is its size. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but man, I love the size of this thing. It can carry me and my daughter or my wife, cargo rack in the back, and I feel super comfortable with it. When you're hauling a lot of cargo, you want a lot of weight on the bike. It just gives you that more stable feeling, you know, something more solid. The structure is there. So yeah, I really love that part about the Roadster73 Plus. It feels like a tank. Like, it's just so solid. And of course, another great thing I love about this bike is the ride quality. The ride quality is pretty nice. I mean, you see it in the name, it's the Roadster, and it really smoothens out the road. We got a nice suspension fork in the front and a bit of like a coilover system suspension in the back. It ain't no Sur-Ron, it ain't no dirt bike suspension, but boy does it love the streets and the asphalt. It smoothens everything out. While I'm doing delivery shifts, sometimes, you know, I'm staring at my phone, I'm checking the map, I got one hand on the handlebar, and sometimes I'm just not paying attention to the road and I get caught with a random divot, a random bump, and it jolts me up. But with the Roadster73 Plus, I really don't have to worry about it. Now, of course, you'll feel it. The suspension just smoothens it out. So the ride quality on the Roadster is superb, guys. The weight and the suspension make for a really nice ride. Of course, you can't talk about ride quality without talking about pedaling. Now, obviously, this is a moped style e-bike. You're not gonna be getting the best pedal experience. Matter of fact, you won't get much pedal experience because the seat is non-adjustable. Fahr Bike does offer a higher seat. Sometimes they even have it on sale where it comes with the bike, so you'll just have to double check on that. Because of the moped style seat, it's very wide, and the pedaling, well, the pedaling leaves much to be desired. Now, the Roadster does come with a 7-speed Shimano shifter and 5 levels of pedal assist, pretty standard for most e-bikes. So it's not like they shortchanged you, they pretty much gave you the standard that most e-bikes come with. Look at the beach. Next thing I want to talk about is the range of this guy. Now, of course, I mentioned it. 100 pounds, 750 watt rear hub motor, 48 volts. This thing gets big range. Now, it comes with a 20 amp battery, and it also comes with a 3 amp charger, which is a great plus. E-bike companies will send you a 2 amp charger. A 3 amp really goes a long way in getting that battery charged up. But with 20 amp hours, and you can verify this with plenty of my other videos, especially my Uber Eats and delivery gig videos, I'm getting at least 25, 28 miles a shift with like a bar or 2 battery to spare. And I am throttling this guy probably 95% of the time through uphills and downhills. One of the best ranges I got through a really, really tough uphill shift was, I think I ended up with about 28 miles at the end of the night, and I was going through multiple uphills. So no doubt this bike on just pure throttle, obviously mixed road conditions, I think you can get at least 30 to 35 miles on this, which is pretty much on par with 20 amp hour batteries and, you know, that kind of size. Now, of course, no bike is perfect, so let's get into one of the things that was quite unfortunate, but it could just be on my bike, which is going to be the brakes. Now, the Roadster73 Plus does come with hydraulic brakes and 180 millimeter sized rotors. The stopping power is actually quite nice. It will stop you very quickly, even with its big weight. The only unfortunate thing, and this may just be my bike, but for some reason, the front brake pads are so squeaky. So I'll show you guys. I'm gonna do the front brake first, which is on the left side. Super squeaky, crazy squeaky. Now I'm going to do the rear brake, which is on the right side. Pretty much quiet. So I don't know what happened. I mean, they used the same brakes, so I assume it's just the brake pads. Maybe I just got contaminated front brake pads, something along those lines. Pretty cheap fix, probably like 15, 20 bucks to get a set of brake pads, but still quite annoying to have to deal with out of the box. I don't know what it is, but that front brake squeals like crazy. But if you combine them both, really, really good stopping power. Here we go, coming off a 20, and we'll slam the brakes. The whole brake system itself will stop you on a dime. Really nice. Gotta love hydraulic brakes. I want to double back to the ride quality again real quick, because I'm going to go ahead and take it through a short little off the beaten path kind of trail. Now let's check it out. This Tesla's kind of blocking the path, but we'll go ahead and shimmy down here. Gonna run over some weeds apparently. Now the name of the bike is the Roadster, but it does plenty good enough in these kind of situations where you're kind of just off the beaten path, maybe doing a short walking trail. Compared to a no suspension bike, this is going to be much, much better. So yeah, the front forks have 60 millimeters of travel, and then you do have a sort of coilover suspension style in the back. So perfect for little walking trails like this. Last time I was here, it was not this overgrown. Much more overgrown now. This will provide a much more smoother ride for you guys if you plan on taking it off-road. Now, I have actually taken this bike through mountain bike trails, and it did pretty good. Now, of course, I'm not going mountain bike speeds. This was basically used by my wife and daughter to film me as like a camera bike, but it did keep up throughout the trail. So yeah, the Roadster73, perfect for stuff like this and more. Which brings me to another kind of a weird subject, but this thing climbs like crazy. Now, I have a weird suspicion that because the Roadster has a very gradual acceleration, it's kind of like hitting a low gear when you're off-roading. So if anyone has ever off-roaded before, you know that there's a gear that you hit, the L gear or the low gear, that helps you climb up crazy inclines. Because you don't want all that torque and power all at once. That's gonna spin the wheels. Now, with this bike, it beat both my bikes, the Rip Racer and the Zebra, in uphill, especially on dirt, loose gravel, rocks, stuff like that. Because the acceleration was so subtle, it acted like a low gear, and you could actually crawl your way uphill without spinning out or digging yourself deeper into dirt. Honestly, this thing was kind of meant to just like, it's like a pack animal. It takes everything from your cargo and your passenger, and it acts like a pack animal, and it just slowly goes up whatever challenge you throw at it, which was a really nice surprise. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that, especially with fat tire bikes, is that even though you have a 2,000 watt motor, you're going to end up slipping out because of the incline, because of the grade. You definitely want a more subtle acceleration. I think that could be introduced as a different mode for e-bikes in the future, sort of an off-road mode. So when you're going uphill or a steep incline, it gives you the torque, but it doesn't give you 100% of the power. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, the Fahr Bike, maybe it did it by accident. It's an awesome hill climber, especially off-road. So we just took a little pit stop by the harbor to get a closer look of the bike. Here is the headlight. Now, I didn't get much footage night riding this thing, but the headlight is pretty good. It's not the brightest thing in the world, but it does have a very wide throw. You get to see a lot more road. I just wish it was just a tiny bit more brighter. Although, I've seen this bike coming at me before at night, and it's actually really, really visible for cars and pedestrians to see you. It's just, you're not blinding them. To be fair, is the way you should want your headlights. So yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful bike. Again, guys, I'm sorry it's a little dirty. We did go up to the mountains yesterday, and we put this thing through a lot of dusty trails, and it passed with flying colors, as usual. Now, I did add my own rear rack. Unfortunately, the zip ties I used were not black, they're white, so it looks a little janky. Nonetheless, this rear rack is solid. I forget how much it's rated for. I'll throw it up on the screen, but you can put a lot of weight on this thing, and you will feel solid. Now, unfortunately, one thing that did happen was this rear peg. There's a washer right here that actually got kicked off. Now, I'm not going to blame Fahr Bike for that. My daughter usually is the one that rides in the passenger seat, and you know, with kids, they love to fidget, so I think she just fidgeted her feet. That knocked one of the washers that locked this peg on, so I had to do my own kind of DIY solution, which is just a simple bolt. It is actually pretty solid. It just doesn't lock up like the other one does. So the other peg, you know, locks straight up. There's a spring in there. Here's the little washer right here that got knocked loose. But these pegs attach with just a simple Allen screw, so you can definitely get, you know, third-party pegs. Oh gosh, look at that. Of course, here's a closer look at these coilover style rear shocks, which are pretty good. Not the most amount of travel, but boy, does it make a big difference. And this seat, you guys, this seat is actually very, very comfortable. Even though it looks kind of small, I can fit my daughter back here or my wife back here, and we go pretty comfortably. Unfortunately, only 2 accessory screws here, so you could probably mount a speaker or a water bottle, but at least you get, you know, the option. And oh gosh, look at that dust. Man, we went crazy yesterday. Nice looking bike. The color is awesome. I love that subtle army green. One of those bikes that kind of pop out. People are always like, whoa, look at that thing. It's kind of like a rad bike on steroids. It's just bigger, it's beefier. You just need to see it in person. And here's a look at the tail light. Really visible at night, no complaints. Also integrated, so of course it brightens when you press on the lever. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at the display. Once again, as you can see, 345 miles so far on this bike. And look at that. Still have full battery. Well, full battery, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't have the exact wattage readings on this display, so you're just going to be stuck with the battery monitor. But yeah, the range on this guy, especially if you're like around just 20-25 miles an hour, just easy on the throttle, is actually really good. And these are the hand grips. You got a little bit of a palm rest right here. These are rubber and they're actually really nice as well. No complaints on this. And of course, I'll show you guys a little bit of the turning radius. Now, the Roadster does have these little, I don't know what to call them, rubber stoppers, so that you don't hit the side of the frame, which is a really nice touch. And of course, you don't want to pinch these wires, so the rubber stopper goes ahead and stops that. Of course, it's going to limit your turning radius, and you can kind of adjust it. You know, you can kind of make it more forgiving or not, because these just are rubber stoppers. Honestly, on a big bike like this, you're kind of riding it like a boat, you know. Really wide turning radius. It's not as nimble as a smaller commuter bike because it's meant for comfort and stability. So all in all, the Roadster73 Plus, a solid bike. Now, who's this bike for? Well, I would argue that this bike is for people like me, your family man, you know? This thing hauls passengers and hauls cargo, and it's stable, yet you can bring it out into rough terrain and it'll be able to handle itself without any problems. I have ridden this bike for over 300 plus miles, and the only problem I've ever had with it was that left rear peg getting loose and losing its little washer, and then the front brake being extra squeaky. And that's pretty much the only thing that has ever really gone wrong. And I have ridden this thing, guys. I mean, the odometer proves it. And of course, I've had several other videos with it as well. So far, it's been very stable. I have put this thing through enough of a ringer to let you guys know that this thing is great bang for buck value. Now, unfortunately, there have been recent tariffs that increased the price of, well, many, if not all, e-bikes. So this thing is going to run you around $1,500, I think. I'll throw it up on the screen. But of course, sign up to Fahr Bike's email list. They will send you coupons, and whatever I can find, I'll throw it up in the description or on the screen as well. But in a short conclusion, this bike has passed through all my tests, really. I've taken it through several different types of terrain: dirt, mud, sand, plenty of miles of asphalt doing good delivery work. And once again, it has not failed me. The ride has been comfortable, the seat has been comfortable, and there's enough power and range to get you going for several hours, whatever adventure you and your family would like to take. I mean, just think about what you're getting for the price. You're getting fenders, you're getting full suspension, you're getting an integrated rear rack that holds over 100 pounds. You're getting the ability to carry passengers, foot pegs. You got a 750 watt motor that goes up to 28, and it's not slow. Now, of course, the acceleration is going to be gradual, but in the middle of the power band, this thing is fast. I love the BMX handlebars. The wire management is solid, and this was a very easy bike to build. All it was the front wheel, the seat, and I believe the pedals, and of course the headlight. So yes, Fahr Bike did send this bike to me, guys, to review. I told them straight up, hey, I'm gonna be putting your bike through the test, man. I'm gonna be doing e-bike adventures with it. I'm probably gonna log a couple 100 miles before I even touch the review. And they said, go ahead. We are confident in our bike, and you know what? They should be. Because I'm out here and I'm thinking, what don't I like about this bike? Besides the squeaky front brake pads, which is an easy fix, and the loose passenger peg, which is not their fault, and it was also a very quick fix. So I'm just like, I like everything about it. I don't know, the ride quality, the size, the weight, the stability. It's just one of those bikes that's very well polished. So it definitely gets the Charge and Cruise thumb of approval. This bike has definitely grown on me and on my family. I mean, we use it to run our errands, from quick little grocery store runs to dropping stuff off at the post office. And me and my daughter ride on this thing all the time to do our quick little, you know, runs to Target, runs to the grocery store. And it just makes the simple little things that much more, you know, fun, because it's an adventure. Anytime you're on your bike, the most menial tasks become so much more fun. So Fahr Bike did a really great job designing this thing. I think this is their version 2. So they really polished it up here, guys. Now, of course, there's gonna be bikes with bigger motors, bigger power, all that stuff. You know what? Tell that reviewer to put in a couple 100 miles, because most of these bike reviews, guys, I mean, I hate to be that dude, but man, how can you give a bike review if you just open it up, build it, ride it for like 10 miles, and then say that you reviewed the bike? That's not really how it should be. You should be able to see at least a couple 100 miles on the odometer before you go ahead and review a bike. So that's the beauty of my channel, guys. I will never fully review a bike without putting in at least a couple 100 miles. Because not only are reviews kind of biased, I mean, I am a little biased. I did get sent the bike, but at least I put in the time and the effort to ride the bike for a good long while before giving my actual true opinions on it. So we're back home, guys, and in conclusion, this is a great family bike. As you can see, you can haul your stuff, you can haul your passengers, your kids, and you can haul yourself, all comfortably with the full suspension and the great stability of a nice massive bike like the Roadster73 Plus. So I'll link it down below. I don't make any money off your guys' purchases. Just let them know that Charge and Cruise sent you if you decide to pick one up yourself. But until next time, guys, take care. Farewell.